Wrestling, an ancient pastime of extreme dedication, willpower, and physical capacity, is considered by many as one of the most mentally and physically taxing sports in existence. It is one of the few sports which can be traced back to the very beginnings of recorded history. Cave drawings in France, which are allegedly 15,000 years old, serve as a benchmark of how deeply rooted wrestling is in human culture. More recent exposure of the sport can be traced back to around 704 BC, ancient Greece, where wrestling played a prominent role in legend and literature. The sport of wrestling is described in written works of the time, such as the Iliad and Odyssey. The sport is also depicted on a variety of objects from the time, such as vases, sculptures, and bullion coins. In ancient Greece, wrestling was highly competitive and ruthless, so much so that it was the number one sport of the Olympic Games. This great fascination of the sport, however, was not only limited to the Greeks. The allure of wrestling manifested itself in other notable cultures, such as that of Iran, India, Japan, and China. Although the rules of wrestling varied slightly in each culture, all shared one common goal: to win at all costs. Competitors of the time took every possible precaution and procedure in order to come out on top. According to legend, the ancient Greeks would consume animal testicles before a match in order to get an edge over their opponent. Although the practice might sound ridiculous and is no longer used, wrestlers today are known to partake in equally ridiculous or even more absurd practices to help them win. One technique used by a majority of wrestlers in order to gain an advantage is cutting weight, which essentially involves self-starvation, dehydration, and endless amounts of exercise. Partaking in such bizarre and outlandish practices to succeed is not an anomaly in wrestling, but rather the normality. The notion of doing everything possible to succeed is deeply rooted into the culture of the sport and is what defines wrestling at its very essence. A wrestling match typically consists of 3 2-minute periods during which